over what's happening in the market, a little bit of news, and then I give my opinion and let you all basically know what I'm doing with what's going on nowadays. The market did just open, and if you're watching this on replay, skip through, do whatever you feel, and thank you for coming by. The market right now, at least, let's see what we got ourselves into. There we go. So UEC is still holding over $4. Space is at 740 currently. I'm getting my TD open. Actually, let me open up the general market, see what that looks like while we do that. All right. Oh, we got sneeze. So it looks like diversified retail is in the lead right now, then followed by food and tobacco, telecommunications, and beverages. Dow Jones as of, the second, so first minute is down, looks like 0.4%. S&P 500 is down 0.6%. So I was actually talking with some people over the weekend, and we were saying that we were kind of thinking that it was going to take a little bit of a pullback. I mean, if you saw what happened after the FOMC meeting, everything's been running up for a little bit, not too long, and I wouldn't expect anything too crazy to happen, but I didn't want to buy too much and buy into the green by accident. That's more or less what I'm saying. All right, so got our account open here. And where we go? There we go. All right. Okay. So UEC is now at 401, AT&T at 1881, Starbucks at $84. Now that's fantastic. Let's see where our account is. We're at 179 right now, so we're a couple dollars down from the other day. Not surprised. If you didn't catch my last videos, I did buy and sell Verizon. I also did sell my AT&T, and I sold a little bit of my UEC. The Verizon and the UEC were for profit. AT&T, I believe it was profit because I think I got some of their dividends, but at the same time, between my buy-in and what I sold it at, I think it was like $3 difference. So either way, still in the positive. We have 12 shares of UEC currently and 1 share of Starbucks. Overall, it looks like we're up $3 and change since the open of these holdings. Okay, let's check back in with Weevil. There we go. All right. So Tesla's up at 900, and that one looks like it's still going up a little bit. Gold companies look like they're coming back a touch. T-Mobile is up. What do I want to look at? I do want to start getting some water and paper and stuff like that. I'm going to probably put those in my Roth account whenever I do get into those things. Let's open up the interwebs. We'll check out what crypto's looking like now. All right, there we go. Bitcoin at $23,040. That was about sideways from what we last saw it at. I think we saw it at 24 at one point. You got 1600 on Ethereum. Okay, XRP back under 40. Oh, Binance just flipped Cardano. So Binance just beat out Cardano's market cap by about $700 million. Binance USD. Okay. I mean, that's a little bit different. It still does say something. That does let us know that more people are transacting in Binance USD as opposed to UST or USDT or USDC. Because Binance USD is another stable coin for Binance. But it did still flip Cardano. It's a totally different work or use case. Solano's up, I think, like 100% in the last couple of months. I think it was at 23% or $23. I know, never mind, I'm getting Avalanche mixed up. This, I think, was at 30 something. Polygon was at 90 cents. Now, if you were here before everything crashed, 90 cents to like $1.15 is where Polygon or Matic was sitting for a little bit. So we're almost at the pre-crash marks. Not quite. I mean, it did get up to, I think, high $1 or maybe low $2, but we're almost back up there again. So Matic is something to look at. It's a layer 2 on the Ethereum chain. I got to relook up some of these. I forget what Avalanche does. I got to recheck into that. Let me double check real quick, see if I can refresh my memory just by looking at it. That is interesting. Really friendly. Yeah, I got to relook into this. I forget exactly what. Oh, DeFi. That's what. Okay. I forget exactly what Avalanche is, so I got to look into that. Uniswap at $8.15. That's still like half off from what it was at its probably, I would say, average. Its average is probably between like, I mean, maybe $15 to $20. But it got all the way up to like 34 or 40. I unfortunately don't have any more because, you know, things. But $44.92 is what it came up to. Yeah, this is one I got the airdrop. I reinvested in a few things. I'm glad that I like hid some of it away from myself, basically by putting it into things that I can't liquidate. But yeah, I am also glad that I got rid of it when it was way higher than that. Chainlink is holding strong. Now this one went up there. I guess it did get up to $52. Wow. Okay, I forgot about that. So yeah, this one has gone way up there. I think it was at like 30 or 40 before the crash happened in January. Let's see. So in January, yeah, it was about like 20 some odd dollars. I remember in the 30s in the 30s more than anything. So it's still, you know, less than, it's probably about a third or a quarter of what it was before, but at the same time, it's holding stronger than it was before it ran up, because before it ran up, it was at like 450. So when this came and settled down after the crash, it settled higher than it was before, which is a pretty big deal. Chronos, the Crypto.com's blockchain, which they rebranded, I have to check into that because that was while I was kind of down from, you know, sick and recovering from that fog and all that stuff. But either way, same thing. This one was at like 7 cents or 4 cents. I feel like I have something in my eye. Right before the, or not right before the crash, let me not say that, before the run up, went up to like 40, 60, 70 cents, something like that. So even when it settled down higher than it was at before. It's always good to see. But yeah, anyway, that's the top like 30 coins. There's plenty of more things that you can look into when it comes to crypto, of course. Let's see what the markets are looking like again. So UEC is under $4. Let's look at the chart. Let's get a little closer into some of these, see what our lines are looking like. Oh, tapped the line. Is it going to break it? Alright, showing weakness. It didn't necessarily, I mean, yeah, it did make a cross. So if I were to have sold it, probably would have been at open if I wanted to sell this to be able to buy some more at a lower price. I still could sell. Let me actually look at it for a second because I might. It's so low volume though. Because if this does break that 395 line, and it looks like my support line is held, because I mean, it hit, what's that right there? 394 was its bottom on that candle, on the 2 a.m. candle. What? Alright, show me again. 834 I think is what it said. Or 234, but well, 834. So if it did go lower than that at 834, then I can see it dropping lower. But 834 hit 394, which is around where our support lines are. So it bounced right off of that, which is a good sign. MACD is starting to turn up. If we see those two lines right there cross, then that does typically indicate that it's going to be going further up. But we typically want to see higher volume than what we're seeing right now. if we're going to be playing off of these indicators. So yep, the cross happened. You see that the next minute's candle already opened up higher than the last candle. But this is the thing with low volume. It can go either way, a little bit less predictably. When you have higher volume and it makes that cross, if that cross held through the minute or holds through the minute, because it still could, then you're more than likely going to see, just maybe a quick run up. You never know for how long, but you're going to see a run up of some kind. All right, let's see what else we got today. So, I know there's plenty of big news to go over, but I think I went over pretty much the main important things this weekend, or on Friday. Yahoo. Let's see. I know I've been hearing some stuff over the weekend, more, where the most amount of people holding 0.01 Bitcoin, just a lot of good news for crypto as far as why it should be going up. Stock market rally in focus after best 2020. Let's see. Housing correction is dead ahead. Last hurrah, Michael Burry says. You shouldn't get too excited over rosy corporate earnings. So, this right here, let's see. Oh, it's a little bit of a long read. Let's look at it real quick, because it might be some pretty good information. Michael Burry is the one who predicted the housing market crash back in, I think he predicted it in 2006 or 2007, so he was early, but at the same time, he predicted that crash was going to happen. And no one wants to see these things kind of come to fruition. So I'm hoping that we're not in as bad of a recession as some people think we might be. Anyway, so hedge fund manager, Michael Burry's latest 13F filing for the first quarter of 2022, a broad range of new investments and some interesting strategic moves with options. That's a significant shift from previous quarter when Burry was selling most of his stocks portfolio and calling mother of all crashes. Okay. He's not exactly bullish on the overall market, recently issuing a serious warning about the current earnings season that has been relatively positive. These earnings reports, by Jove, the whole season have a last hurrah feel, Burry wrote in a since deleted tweet. I really, I need to follow him on my Twitter. I just opened up a Twitter, by the way, for Knuckle Dragger Finance. Go follow it. It's Knuckle D Finance. And I'll be posting in some information as I find it, or just my thoughts on other people's stuff and engaging on Twitter also. But I know he posts a lot on Twitter, but he deletes it basically instantly. So no one really gets to read what he says, but he has a lot to say. Whether you agree with him or not, take your pick. I'm not going to go through all these. Read it if you like, but note there, Michael Burry is a name that is good to follow. Peter Schiff, another good name to follow. I don't agree with what this guy says most of the time. His bank just went bankrupt. I think it just filed for Chapter 11, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. By the way, this channel is not financial advice, for education and entertainment purposes only. But he's a big gold bug. I do believe in gold and precious metals and everything like that, but he's completely against Bitcoin. And there are some rumors that say that he does own Bitcoin, like through his son, who is a Bitcoin advocate. I think even a Bitcoin maxi. But who cares? Whatever. There's a perfect storm brewing in a family housing market. Boeing stocks jumps as 787 deliveries can resume. IRS changes guidelines for inherited IRAs. Now, things like this are very important to read, because if you're leaving anything behind, you want to make sure that it's set up properly. Make sure it's set up properly in your will, trust, whatever you have. Metaverse stocks. Okay, so right now there's not too much new news out there besides the normal stuff. What is this? Visa intended to help Pornhub and its parent company monetize child porn. Wait, what? Judge finds and allowing case to... What? That's not good. That's disgusting. I'm even kind of upset that I just read that. Oh well. 39 years old, single dad with 600,000 saved. I want to retire at 50, but don't know how. What should I do? I'm actually going to be making a video on this really soon about, number one, I'm going to be making a video about allocations and how to find out where your allocations should go for you specifically. And number two, how you, basically the math that it takes to figure out how much you need to retire. And to put it very simply, whoa, just got a weird pain in my ear. To put it very simply, when you're trying to figure out how much you want to retire on, what you would do is you want to think about the income that you would need to maintain your life at your ideal retired age. So let's just use 50 as an example. If you're going to retire at 50 years old, let's say that you want to be making at least $50,000. I know that sounds low, but in this case, we're going to be assuming that your car is paid off, your house is paid off, you don't have any extra, extravagant bills, everything is covered, and what you're paying for is your expenses to live and vacation and your fun stuff too. You can do that on $50,000 at 50 for sure. Pick the right place to live, you're fine. And then what you want to do is kind of guesstimate how long are you going to live. Let's say we're going to go biblically, 120 years is the lifespan of a human being now. So let's say from 50 to 120 is 70 years. So you'll have to think how much is 50 times 70 years. So that comes out to what, $3.5 million? Hold on, let me see. Or is it $350,000? I think I moved the zero when I tried doing that in my head. Okay, so 50,000 times 70 years. Yeah, $3.5 million. So you would need $3.5 million to live for 70 years more if you were to retire at 50. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but this is another way to look at it. If you have life insurance that can pay you out while you're alive, 401ks, Social Security, IRA, you have a slew of different things that can pay you out while you're retired. And what you do is that is what equals up to the $50,000. So you don't necessarily have to have the $3.5 million saved in cash in any specific investment. What you do need to do is make sure that over the 70 years, you accumulate or are able to use $3.5 million, hopefully with some left over also that you could will down. What that means is, and there is math to this, I'm not going to do the math right now, so I'm just going to guesstimate. So what that means is, let's just say that you're going to do, and these are rough numbers, I'm not going to go by the 3.5 million either. You're going to do $1 million, or you're going to save $1.5 million, and you're going to take 4% of that per year. So that's $60,000 per year if you do a 4% payout on your $1.5 million. So that being said, when you come to retirement age at 50, if you take 4% of your investment every year, meaning $60,000, you can actually keep growing that investment. Because if the average rate of ROI stays the same, which is 6-7%, it's debatable depending on who you're talking to, and you reinvest some money, you might have to reinvest some money depending on how my math works out with this example, but 4% of your money gives you $60,000 per year. The rest of that money is still compounding to pay you out 4% each year. And what you can do on top of that is, with some of that money, that $60,000 per year, you can continue buying more assets. So you're constantly growing your assets anyway, and that's how some people can live off of $50,000, $60,000, even $40,000 per year. They just make sure they have everything paid off, and most of what they buy is an asset that will continue to pay them money. So that's the short synopsis of how you retire, how you calculate how much you need to retire. I will definitely make a longer video on this. I wish I had a different background than Google or Brave. What I meant to do was actually bring up one of the online calculators that I know they have. But that's what I got on that. So, anyways, let's go back to the chart and see what they're doing. And this is kind of what I thought was going to happen. So UEC is back over $4. It bounced off the 394 or 395 line, and it's starting to swim its way back up over $4. Let's check on else. Starbucks. Let's get a close view on that. So we are at 84.70 currently. Not too much crazy going on this morning in Starbucks. I mean, Starbucks isn't very volatile. I probably am going to sell this once I'm in the profit in this account, and I'll be buying it in my Roth IRA instead. More so because more so because this account I want to be with more volatile stocks. As I trade more, I want to be able to trade more. And if the stock isn't, or the security isn't volatile, I'm not getting much action. But it looks like it has like it's saying that it's a low at 82.23 today, which is about $1 above our support. So, but that was like a quick dip. All right, so that's that. Let's look at space. Oh, excuse me. SPCE, Virgin Galactic Holdings, and we are in the minute. Yep. All right, it's a bit all over the place. Is there any news? Now, Boeing is helping them out with getting their, touristy space shuttle into the edge of space. So any of this right here, I wouldn't be surprised if the reason it's so volatile right now and kind of finding its way is because of what they just said about the 787. So the 787 is now, allowed to be delivered again, as we just saw title reading. So just want to say that we only title read, but any kind of news can make a stock do something. So now Boeing is connected to Virgin Galactic by being a help of them. So, or I should say, space is connected to Boeing because they need help from them. So it doesn't surprise me that there is a little bit of action. I think that's that for now. At least on space. Let's look at the overall market, see what they're looking like. Why is Amazon the only thing showing right now? Alright, overall Dow Jones still looks like it's at 0.27%. Down 0.27%. I don't know if I said down before that, but anyways, let me know in the comments below what you're doing. Are you kind of doing what I am, which is holding what you have now and selling when you're in profit? I do have some cash on the side also, so that I can buy more things when they look very appealing. But I'm not going to say I'm expecting a dip, but I want to get more used to holding cash. Before this pandemic, I had a bad habit of not holding enough cash or liquid cash. And that carried over to when I was trading with crypto. And then when I got COVID, instead of transitioning things into cash like I wanted to, I went into more stable cryptos, and then everything tanked like 2 days later because, not because I was sick, but I was sick and everything tanked like 2 days later, so I wasn't at my computer to even see what was going on. I was done. But now I'm trying to get used to having at least 10 to 30% of whatever accounts I have in cash. This one is at 20%. I sold that UEC just so I can have a little bit of cash in here for no other purpose than if UEC does take a bigger dip. But yeah, let me know. Let me know what you're doing down in the comments below. Right now, I'm just, I have a couple of businesses, well, one business in particular that I'm working on building, so as I grow that, I am starting to stick to my rules again of DCAing back into some crypto like Bitcoin, just $10 every week, just to slowly get used to things. But I'm heavily accruing cash on the side and some other stable investments to make sure that if anything happens in the immediate short term, I'll be okay. And when I say heavily, that's a relative term, by the way. My expenses are pretty darn low. So, yeah, that's that on there. But if you, in case you haven't noticed, or in case you don't know, I do have shorts that I post up, or I'm going to be posting more of also, of definitions for investing. If you like this so far, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let me also mention Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, like what I'm doing right now. I do at 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time for market opens, and I share a little bit of information of whatever I found. Given how my time is freeing up coming up, I will be able to do more news research. And if you want to support the channel, there's a couple links below, weeblecrypto.com, and that's pretty much all I'm going to say, and we're going to keep going on. So we got now everywhere over in Asia and Europe, besides FTSE International, which I'm not familiar with that, is looking green. NASDAQ is green. S&P TSX, I don't remember that off the top of my head, but that's green. Now Dow Jones and S&P 500 are red. And the thing is these two markets are what most of the world goes off of when they're trading stocks, especially the Dow. NASDAQ also, but since two of the three are red, overall I would say that we're looking a little red right now. But if we look a little further, I'm going to look into diversified retail. But no, I didn't want. Oh, is that really the only thing that's in here? That doesn't make any sense. I wonder what happens when I Google diversified retail. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I thought. There's plenty more. Amazon, Home Depot, that's diversified retail. I guess that makes sense. Lululemon, Ulta Beauty. I used to do some HVAC units in their place for the company I used to work, for which I used to work. For whom I used to work. No, it'd be which, because it's a company. Okay. Now, as things start going along, I'm going to be adding I won't say Q&A section, because I'm doing this, I'm talking to myself right now, but what I will be doing is kind of accumulating questions that I'm hearing in different sources, whether it's on Twitter, from friends, from family, other channels, and I'll start going through those, having a quick section at the end of this video, probably for like 15 minutes of a Q&A also. But until then, check out my videos, and I'll see you all later. And by that I mean Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time.